The Lore Reloaded. Hey, check me out at twitter.com/Lore Reloaded as well as twitch.tv/Lore Reloaded. I've been using both of those quite a bit. Twitter more than Twitch, I'll be honest with you. But if you want to catch me and talk about almost anything that you want that doesn't necessarily have to be Trek related, that's where you need to go. Though I will give you the quote-unquote trigger warning that that's full octane me, not the let's talk about science fiction me. So if you don't want to know any more than the science fiction I give you in videos, I would suggest not going to those routes. With that out of the way, hope everybody is doing well today. We got Brat Llama 754 in the house. Esther Kamate, what's going on? John Mills, hope you are doing well. Of course, it is never a party until both Benny Hooker, Mr. Pete, and 100% American Buffalo make it here. It has been a while, Mr. Pete, though I've been on. I don't know if we've just not been able to sync up or what is going on with that, but you know, it's been a little bit before you and I have talked. So let's get right into the news. So apparently they have renewed, or Star Trek 4 is coming out again, which means that the JJ verse in and of itself is not dead, like, at all. The reason why I decided to bring this up or to have a conversation about it is just because I found it very interesting. Because the JJ verse has been... When was the last JJ verse movie? Right? Star Trek 3. Let's see. Well, we'll do JJ verse movies. I think it's been a while since the last Trek movie came out. So we're seeing another video come out. We're seeing another movie come out, right? And I'm sorry, I'm trying to look it up while I'm having a wonderful discussion with you people. And the interesting conversation, I guess. Last one was 2009. So what is that? 10 years ago? I guess? No, because it's 16. Sorry, 2016, 17, 18, 19. So it's about 3 or 4 years. It's just interesting to me. I guess the conversation I wanted to have and why I found it very curious is because apparently the JJ verse that we all thought was dead is not dead at all. It'll be returning at least for one more movie. I think that's because Chris Pine has decided to return. And there is a chance that the rated R movie that should still be coming out will also be a part of the JJ verse. I've heard rumors about that. I don't know how true it is. I just think it's really interesting to me that somehow the JJ verse survives, if not thrives. But the original, what a lot of people are asking for, is for all intents and purposes gone. I even think that with Picard, we're going to see more a JJ verse, a more Discovery feel. I honest to God feel like that. Ebenezer 1690 helping out the channel. As you guys know, that's how I keep all of the lights on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. States good to contribute a little again. Excelsior. Well, Excelsior back to you, sir. Excelsior back to you. So I'm interested what you guys think about that, though. So with the renewal of the JJ verse movie, we're going to see more and more the shift away from original Trek, right? Hey, I'm live, babe, just so you know.
When's Mom coming?
She'll be here about an hour.
Yay!
I'll let you know.
I upped the level in Lexia today.
Don't give too much information.
This week.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
So you got better at reading, right?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, so there we go. All right, love you. All right.
Why don't I need to put too much information?
Because they don't need to know too much information about you. And as your parent, I don't want them knowing it. All right.
Why?
Say bye, babe. Okay.
I want to stay.
All right. Go play. I'll tell you when Mom's coming. All right, so yeah. So where was I? Oh, the JJ verse is having a return, as well as Discovery having season 3, Picard coming out, and all of the other things that we're seeing. There's even now a VR game for Discovery. So there's a couple of things to that. First off, I think it really cements the fact that we're probably not going to see the original nostalgia that we wanted. I also think that... Wow, I didn't even see that there. I also, let me finish this thought real quick. I also think that it kind of disproves that Discovery hasn't been doing well. You know? What's its name?
It's a girl.
Okay, what's her name?
Millie.
Millie? Okay.
La 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 la, I'm gonna swim away. Swim. Okay, I'll say away this time.
Okay, well, it's not about saying away. I just got to finish this, okay? I love you.
Okay, Millie's going to go play with me.
So, I guess, so here's my question. Um, is, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I got sidetracked with Millie. Um, what is the point, or what is the reasoning behind the expansion, behind having another JJ verse, if not for, uh, if not Discovery doing really well? If Discovery was bombing, like we thought that it, or not like we thought, like some people stated it was, why would Paramount put more money into JJ-verse? JJ-verse, definitively, we have the stats that the movies were going down, but there has to be a resurgence of some kind. I also, again, think that because of what we're seeing with the JJ-verse, the R-rated movie with Discovery, and honestly, I'd bet money on Picard. It's going to be very... we're never going to see what we had before. And I think that's just the way of things. Oratakawa Tinga says Tarantino is supposedly nostalgia trek and very with every expletive thrown in. What I've heard is that it's not going back to what it was supposed to be because of how popular. It's going to be more JJ Trek than not. I don't know. The conundrum is the repetition kills the show. Ebenezer 1690, nice job, Dad. Thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting the channel. But here's the thing. I would agree, and Red Letter Media talked about this, right? That they burn out pretty quick. With the JJ verse, if you have a lot of explosions, you have a lot of people just coming on and fighting each other, it gets old pretty quickly. And I think that borne out in the stats that we see. But it has an immediate high gross to it. And also, when it comes to Discovery, the show appears, I'm going to do it like this, to be following the same pattern that we saw with other series, which is bolstering people to want to continue to watch it. The first couple of seasons were horrible. The more seasons we get, the better it is. It appears to be doing that. We'll have to see what season 3 is. I do think season 3 of Discovery is going to be the last one. I can't find any resources to it now, but I swear to you guys, it was official that they said there would only be 3 seasons to Discovery. Maybe they removed it because they're going to do more than 3 seasons, but I'm almost confident we're only going to see 3 seasons of Discovery at this point. Though I'm sure people will say that it was because it wasn't doing well. Charles Ryan Lee says they define success only by money, not by how well it is liked or if it's a good story. Well, Charles, I gotta be completely honest with you. I define a lot of what I do by money too, and views, not necessarily about story. I mean, I want to create a good story. I'm going to do what I enjoy, but yeah, I don't know. How much money is Discovery making? I'm not really sure. They have been very, very... They obfuscate a lot with Discovery, and I don't know why. But looking at it from a logical standpoint, from a pragmatic standpoint, companies are in it to make money, as you stated, right? They are not going to put all of this effort into it, all of this advertising, anything of that nature, unless it is helping them in some way. Unless it is pushing something. So I really believe that Discovery is making them money because they're putting too much in it for it not to be. Companies are not as agenda-driven as people like to think. They are reactive to culture, not responsive to it. Is the new movie a blank slate? No, Patrick. From everything I've read and everything I can find, Star Trek 4 will be within the JJ verse universe. I actually like the JJ verse universe. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know why people get so upset. JJ verse, I think, is a better product than Discovery. One of the key reasons for that is that they're honest about it. This is something new. This is different. This is a new take. It's a new continuity, not continuity. It's a new timeline, and they just do whatever they want with it. And I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I enjoy it's like the what if things I do. I enjoy the heck out of what if scenarios, and I think that that's what they've done with the JJ verse. Now I do believe they kind of go too actiony too much, but if Discovery had been that, I think it would have been more palatable to a lot of people. But then again, they probably wouldn't. They probably would not say anything about it. They probably, I don't know. Is the FTC coming after you, Lore? COPPA rules. Yeah, I'm not really all that concerned about COPPA. I know there's a lot of people who are getting pretty irate about it. I think it's something to be watchful for, but it's really only going to impact, from what I can tell, like storytime animators who need to be taken care of anyway. I rarely see storytime animators that I think are telling the truth, and they do cater specifically to kids. And then honest to God kid channels that oh hell, I don't know, just choose any kid channel. That said, I am going to start doing a couple of different things because I hate being as reliant on YouTube as I am. Sorry, and just to go off for a second, guys, I appreciate you allowing me this for a moment. I'm going to start pushing memberships, Patreon, as well as having like a 6 to 12 hour live stream where I'm going to try to make the bulk of what I need to survive and take care of the kids, either probably through PayPal, so that I can make what I want to make and make a better product for you guys. There'll be more on that later. Sorry, since that came up. JJMFDL upgraded to a gelato enthusiast. Thank you so much. Really support it. You guys can become a member by hitting join. Same thing as Patreon, except it's here directly on YouTube, so you don't have to worry about Patreon if you hate them. We also got Vovacat17, whose name I can never say. Give me more of that Giacchino soundtrack. I have a Giacchino soundtrack? I'll do it for you. I'm not sure what you're talking about. You cannot rely on YouTube for an income. I actually do and have for the last year. I'm not necessarily, I don't think it's the best idea, but a lot of my money comes from YouTube advertising. So are they going to abandon the Kelvinverse to continue the original version of the timeline? Actually, that would contradict everything. I don't think they're abandoning the Kelvinverse. I don't know where that's coming from. Everything I've read about Star Trek 4, it's in the JJ verse. They're continuing the Kelvinverse. I see no reason to believe that it's going to revert back. In fact, I'll say this. I think that and by the way, Vovocat, thank you so much for becoming, thank you so much for becoming a member. It's really, really appreciated. I see no specific reason. Man, what the hell was I talking about? I'm just doing great today, aren't I? I see no reason why people think that the JJ verse is going to be the original. And in fact, here's where I was going with that. I think they learned their lesson to a degree. I don't think Picard is going back to nostalgia track, but I sure don't think they're going to do what they did with Discovery. I think they found out that when you lie to people, they don't like it. I think they find out that when you try to push something that isn't true, you are going to get the heck beat out of you. And while I do think that CBS and Paramount are doing pretty well, making a lot of money, there's a lot of negative press that they could have just avoided. It was self-inflicted wounds. So I don't think they're going to do that. But it's a fresh story without prior work in the Kelvinverse. I don't know what that means, Patrick. I apologize. I don't know what that means. If corporations weren't agenda driven, then why are most of our favorite shows broadcasting propaganda to drive away old guard fans and brainwash our kids? They're not agenda driven. They're reactive to culture. within the culture. See, here's the thing. I don't think I would bet money on it that corporations really don't want to push a specific agenda. They just want to make money. So they look in the culture and they see what is getting the most press, and based on that, what they think is doing well or who they think is going to do the best, they then put those messages in. Another way is that they will see big names that they'll want to have, and then those people will be their agendas will be seen. Like as an example, let's see. Let's look at, what is it? Charlie's Angels production company. Who produced? Give me a moment. And then who was the producer? So Columbia Pictures. I think it's Paul Feig. Was it Paul Feig who was the director? No. So, and I don't know Elizabeth Bank. I thought Paul Feig was head of Charlie's Angels. Let's do this. Let's do Ghostbusters 2016? Yeah. So 2016, we had the Ghostbusters, right? And the Ghostbusters production company was... Who was the production company for... Was it Westwood? Westwood is a production company? No, that's where it was. Hold on, give me a second, guys. I appreciate your patience with me. So whoever the Ghostbusters, the production company was, 2016, and I wish I could instantly pull that up, but it doesn't matter. Whoever produced them, they don't, I would bet money that the company and the executives don't really care all that much about what's happening specifically in an agenda-driven piece. But what they did do is they hired Paul Feig, who they thought would make them a bunch of money, and Paul Feig may care. But when it comes to executives, when it comes to corporations, I just don't think they care. I don't think there's an agenda there. Ebenezer 1690, I fear we're becoming less cerebral as a society, hyperbolic maybe. I see less call for Picard's contemplations on humanity and more bang boom. I would agree with that. Sony produced Ghostbusters. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Sony has any kind of bent. I don't think Sony as a corporation or the executives care about feminism. I don't think they care anything about a better society. I think they care about making a lot of money. And I think Paul Feig was someone they thought could do that for them, which was a disaster. So that would be my opinion. I don't think that executives at CBS or Paramount have any kind of care in the world when it comes to feminism or when it comes to the ills of society. I just think that they see in the culture, feminism is a big thing. I think they see in the culture that a lot of people claim that they will come and watch your movie if you have a lot of strong females in it, if you have diversity. And I think that's what they do. And I will say this. I do think that to this extent, maybe. I think that they see that they want a lot of people more in higher power. They want a lot of diversity in higher power. They want women as producers. They want diverse women as producers. And so they'll take these well-known named figures and they'll put them as producers and they'll put them as directors. And then the agenda of those people will be pushed. And I think another way you can see this is look at what a lot of people are doing when it comes to fat shaming and stuff. You're starting to see models that are as big as I am trying to say, oh, just the body is beautiful. Yeah, it's not. It's not beautiful. Take it from a fat person. It's not healthy, and no one should ever... I'm not saying that you should shame a person for their size or make them feel small, but you should not glorify somebody who is unhealthy. But because there's a lot of fat people in our society and fat people don't want to be told that what they're doing is wrong and they're going to kill themselves. Now we have a reaction to that where corporations are starting to say, hey, it's okay that you're going to have heart disease. It's okay. Just go ahead and do it. And that, honestly, is what's happening. And I agree with SC, I think. I mean, I don't know about this, but I would bet it's true that SC says minorities and women are the fastest growing market segments. It's all money. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Uh, Out of my super chat money for today. Well, thank you, Vovocat. I just appreciate you giving. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting the channel to the extent. I mean, even just what you've given is very helpful. Thank you so much. As a woman, it really annoys me. I wasn't a diversity hire. I got my job because I was the best one interviewed. Yeah, and so I don't know how I feel in that. I don't really want to get into politics too much. I have had some convincing arguments for and against, like, hiring based on diversity and whatnot. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. It's a little bit more deep. I want the world to burn. Well, who doesn't, to be honest? Heart disease is a gift from Papa Nurgle. It's just true. That's just true. I'm a big girl. I'm working on becoming smaller. Tess Holiday isn't empowering. She's a walking heart attack. Yeah, it's interesting. There was a woman who did a what was it? They're well known. A lot of people talk about it. TED Talk about fat shaming. Died of heart disease, I think, or something like that. It's kind of crazy. I'd give some money, but the anti-tracker doesn't pay me enough. I'm a starving artist. Well, the anti-tracker should be paying you something, good sir. So he better start paying you all the monies. I've dreamed of blowing up the sun for decades. Well, it is my hope that you don't succeed. I have to be honest with you. So looking back at Star Trek specifically, I'll be interested to see what they do Star Trek 4. Don't make fun of lore. Hey man, hey, don't make fun of lore. What was I saying? I'll be interested to see it. I actually like JJ Verse, but I think it just proves that we're not going to see anything that we used to see. I don't think Picard is going to be there either. I don't think that it'll ever go back to what it used to be. You know? AT pays you with Mrs. AT's cooking? Well, then there you go. Oh, I didn't know you lived near us. Mike, that's cool. Ro Lauren was in Escape from L.A. with Snake Plissken. Okay. Telling you as a fat person myself, I cannot control my overeating, so I wait here for science to reshape me someday. I would love for science. Yeah, that'd be nice. If they could do it just like how they do... by the way, 80 people watching, only 44 likes. Don't be scared to hit that like button, people. Don't be scared of it. Like how they do with pregnancy. You could just take a pill. That'd be nice. Man, I saw the title of the stream alone and clicked. I'm excited for the renewal of Star Trek 4. Well, I am too. Again, I think it'll be interesting. Mr. Miles, AT doesn't even remember your name. What's up with that? What's up with that, sir? So let's talk about something that pulled up with someone. So someone was talking about Gene being a sexist. There's a lot of evidence for that. Frosty Thundertrod. What if CBS made a movie with a new ship and crew? I think it would be pretty cool. I'd be very, very interested, especially if it was a post-Dominion War. That would be very fun. I wish they'd do it with an Akira, but I don't think we'll ever see an Akira class ship. I really don't. Lore, if James Kirk became a black female, what would my thoughts be on that? Probably not popular, would be my thoughts. So, well, my thoughts would not be popular because I just don't get upset about that stuff. I do roll my eyes, and I think it is incredibly, just stupidly hypocritical for people to sit back and say, that you can have certain people can be recast and others can't. Like you can have a black female James Kirk, but not a white Black Panther. I think that's incredibly stupid and hypocritical. But if they wanted to try to remake Star Trek and try to do it from a different bent and just say, this is an alternate universe or this is a new take on it, I'm not... I'm willing to watch it to see where they go with it. But I mean, look at Battlestar Galactica. Look at Battlestar Galactica. They remade Battlestar Galactica, and I love Battlestar Galactica. I love the remake. A lot of people don't. They like the original. But I'll say this. I could never get into the original Battlestar Galactica. The original Battlestar Galactica is okay. But I'm sorry. For me, the reimagined Battlestar Galactica is the actual Battlestar Galactica. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right or you're wrong if you like the original. I'm saying that's what I like. So if someone sat there and wanted to remake it and make James Kirk into, I don't know, whatever, Juanita Kirk or whatever the hell they want to make her name, and they want to try it from that point, okay, I'm not going to get upset about that. You do you, you know? And if that inspires somebody else, if somebody feels like this speaks to me, and I love this new black James Kirk, who's female, then it's whatever. I'm glad you find something that connects with you. I'll probably not like it. I'll probably think that it goes against, well, it depends. I mean, Janet Kirk. Yeah, it could be Janet Kirk too. I mean, it depends. It depends on what they do with it. Now, if they try to say that, now, here's where I would get pretty irritated, is if they took James Kirk and James Kirk decided to become a woman, and then they tried to make that into canon. That to me is dumb, and it's disrespectful to both people who are quote unquote cis heteronormative, and for those who are transgender, or for those who are black, or for those who are female. Because I think you can make strong characters that are what you want them to be and not have to take from a white male. I think that just denigrates and makes everybody, I think it's disrespectful to everybody. So in that, you would have like Doomcock levels of frustration on my channel if that happened. But short of that, I just don't see a problem with it. It's whatever. I don't think they'll do it. Say clips of original Battlestar when I was a kid, saw clips. Yeah, I mean, look, that's my thing though. If you like it, then you like it. You know, it doesn't matter. It's just when they try. What gets me is when they try to change things. When they try to. So here's a piece where I'm torn. In Discovery, spoilers for those who care. In Discovery, they make Spock. They give Spock dyslexia. Now, there was no need, and it added really nothing to have Spock be dyslexic. And it doesn't fit anywhere. We have no reason to believe that he is. It was there for points. Without getting too into detail, dyslexia is something that has a connection to me. I'm not dyslexic, but it has a connection to me. And so part of me thinks it's cool that part of me wants to be okay with it, or to show and could see why that's important to somebody. But ultimately it just denigrates it, because it's just giving it to the character to give it to the character without adding anything to it. You know? Wilhelmina Tiberia Kirk then. Yes, that'll be the official name. Yes. So the frustration scale is now measured from 1 to Doomcock. No, I'm just saying Doomcock gets very passionate. He can do a good rant, and that's what I'm saying. You would see those levels if I saw that. The conundrum is that things must change. Repetition tends to kill shows. It was a common complaint of TNG around the 7th season. Yeah, Charles, you say that, and I don't know that I disagree with it, but TNG had the highest ratings. Unreasonably high ratings. Unrealistically high ratings. And then it just went down from there, and they tried to change it drastically from one to the other, till we now have this. I love both Battlestar Galacticas, although I do fancy the RDM more. Ronald D. Moore. However, it was made before Hollywood went to hell. However, the point was that what changes appropriate and not. When does a show become crap? Um, you know, I I've said this. I think that every universe only has so many stories that it can tell, and I don't know when that line is. But I think The Walking Dead. I'll say this: I think The Walking Dead has told all the stories it has to tell, in my opinion. Uh, but I don't know if Star Trek has reached that level or not. Founders had Defiant in first appearance. Why not take her secrets then? Andy Tiger. Yeah, that was something I actually had an issue with, and I discussed in my breakdown of that episode. They literally took the Defiant, had unfettered access to it. There's no reason that they shouldn't know everything there is to know about the Defiant class and everything that was on that computer. It's one of those things that you really just have to ignore. You could try to say that maybe they were egotistical or their pride got, not pride, I guess you go ego. Maybe they had so much of an ego they didn't think they needed to look into it. I don't know why they wouldn't, you know? So this is something that comes up, and I've talked about this before, Axum on Titan. The Orville is the only authentic Star Trek at this point. I'm going to be honest with you. I think if Star Trek Orville existed, people would hate it and say it's not Trek. I think that the reason people like Orville and say that it's Trek is because technically it is closer to TNG than anything else, and Discovery just bombed. But if you try to look at Orville from a Trek stance, if you try to look at it with a lens for Trek, I think that you will be highly critical of what they do. I think that because it's a comedy, because of the way it stands, people would hate it if it was an officially licensed Star Trek product. I really do. I like Orville a lot as well. So I don't. I'm not putting down the show. I'm just saying that people say that Orville is Star Trek. I think most people. I think most people, and I don't think you're doing it dishonestly or you're like on purpose, but I think it'd be different if it was officially licensed. The main computer had plot armor. Yeah, so here's another one for you, White Plume. Hold on. In that episode where they capture the DS9 and they put all of the people, all of the crew, like Cisco, in the simulation or whatever, they capture the Defiant. They had access to all of its weapons. They had access to all of its computer core, but not only did they not look into any of that, they also left the crew of the Defiant on the Defiant to run it. Watch that episode. In that episode, when Cisco and everyone are freed from the simulation, they thought they destroyed the wormhole because the Dominion was taking over, but they're freed by Odo. Cisco taps his badge and says, Defiant, how many ever to beam up? And they're all beamed up. So not only do they not access anything on the Defiant, but they leave the original crew on the Defiant to run the Defiant. Clausen, Lord of Virulence. Again, guys, thank you so much for helping out the channel. It's how I keep the lights on. Discovery Season 3 is set in the future, yes? Well, yes, it is. Do you still think the Miranda class will still be the most prolific starship in the galaxy? I don't think we'll ever not see a Miranda class. Let's just be honest. But then we can't look at Orville from just a point of view of Trek. It's not Trek. It's made with a lot of love towards Trek, but it's saying we shouldn't have glass windows on Orville. I don't know if you're responding to me or not, Fovacat. But yeah, Orville does not disrespect Star Trek fans, unlike Discovery. Okay, and I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people like Orville, because it doesn't feel like it's disrespectful. It doesn't feel like it's trying to go out of its way to tell fans that they're wrong if they are, left. If you're right of Stalin, then I think that... no, not right of Stalin. who is incredibly, I don't know. If you take a really left-leaning leader and you are just a smidge right of them, Discovery tells you you're wrong, right? And so I think that a lot of people like Orville for that reason. But if Orville was officially Trek, it's not a Star Trek series. It's not. It has a lot of things that are for it, but I don't think it could be respected as one. And Miles, if there was a Star Trek Orville, I imagine Seth would want to be able to do more to make it feel closer to Trek, and that's fair. But wow, that was Southern. That's fair, but it's not Trek right now. Orville is Orville. Yeah, I thought it was Stalin, but if I got it wrong, then I would have went wrong. But if Stalin's who I'm thinking of, if he's extreme left authoritarian, just take an extreme left authoritarian, anyone that just is like a tick right of that person, then you're bad, according to Discovery. Your thoughts on the CBS Viacom merger? I don't think anything's going to change. I hope it goes through, I guess. I don't care. I have no love for Discovery, but I dismissed TNG for 4 seasons, then stumbled back into it. It may happen. I mean, it's possible. Do you think the Orville Season 3 will start showing major offensive against the Kaylon? I would love to see more battles and actual consequences. I'd like to see that too. I don't know that they will, because that's not exactly a cheap thing to do. And so I don't know that Orville is making enough, especially with the change, because they're now behind a paywall, I believe, aren't they? With Hulu, is it? And I don't know. I don't think so. I don't hate JJ Trek as much as many. The last one was better than the previous. Well, good. Good. Give me a second. I need to check something quick. You trying to get the people? Well, you need to help the people. Sorry. I don't know if you can call Stalin a leftist. He's a totalitarian dictator and a pretty stereotypical one. I mean, aren't all totalitarian dictators leftists? Oh! So, great work. Keep it up. Dark Fox 2020, thanks for helping out the channel. I will keep it up. For you, Dark Fox. No one else. So, the more I do, it's just know I'm just thinking of you, buddy. It's all you. God, I'm so fat. Look at me on the ring. Anyway. Someone else kept bringing up another point about how let me ask you this. Do you think CBS made a mistake by telling Seth he couldn't make a Star Trek series? I don't know. I'd be interested to see. I guess if Seth was to make a show, I think that he would, in fact, do something like, Lower Decks. It'd have to be a comedy. It'd probably be more than what we see in what the hell am I trying to say? It'd be more Trek than what we see in Orville, but I think it would be Lower Decks. I think it would be a comedy. Will you do an Orville versus one of the main ships in Star Trek? I don't know. I don't like doing verses of different scenario. I don't like doing different scenarios like that because I just don't think it's fair. I don't think they did. Seth is a loose cannon. We love him for it, and Star Trek is a long-established franchise. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'd have to see. The main ship of Orville is actually similar to the Voyager. The main ship... I don't know. How would you say that? I don't know that it is. I'd be interested where you get that from. You're welcome. Us Northerners, no culture. Yeah, Northerners know culture as much as they know about what actually happened in the Civil War and the nuances in it. I wouldn't want Seth to make Trek. He has much more liberties with what he has now. Yeah, I mean, he would be restricted. I think. I don't know. Are you interested in the 2380 date for Star Trek Lower Decks? I'm concerned. I need to see what they're going to do with Lower Decks. I'm not a huge fan of Lower Decks. So I'll be honest. I'm one of those. I'm a purist in this way, though I hope it's going to change me around. Trek has always been a more serious bent. It's about humanity becoming the best that it can be. It's about a positive nature to it. It's about overcoming adversity. You even see some of that in Discovery. Discovery, for all its flaws, still had some of that. Uh, but Lower Decks is a comedy that shows you the most worthless ship, the most less valued, and it's supposed to just be like a second contact, dumbed down version. And that is never what Trek has been, uh, assuming that you don't look at the animated series. And so I don't know how I feel about that. I'm hoping that it'll be done respectfully and they'll turn me around on that, but I honestly don't know what to think about it. You know? Since you're Southern, you should reply to dumb comments with "bless your heart." I hate that. I mean, I don't. There's a lot about Southern culture I don't like either. I'm just saying, Northerners have no idea uh, how the Civil War went through. I'm just saying. Technically, Seth worked in engineering on the NX-01 Enterprise. Yeah, that I hate that he had such a bit part. I wish they would have done more with him. The last season of Orville wasn't much better than Discovery. Not funny at all. Very few episodes I consider worth watching. I've liked Orville for the most part. SC apparently is big brained. He's been watching Rick and Morty. There's actually good sci-fi mixed in with subversive humor. I like a lot of Rick and Morty. It can get kind of old for me, if I'm being honest with you, but I do enjoy a bit of Rick and Morty. What I like about Rick and Morty is that it actually has the ability to be smart, and it doesn't instantly tell you everything. I'm from Russia. Am I northern or southern? I guess that would depend on if you're northern or southern. You're in northern or southern Russia. I mean, I can't say. Uh, Being from Russia, I mean, the only thing I know about you is that you hate everything American and don't enjoy freedom and like cheese. I guess I don't know much about Russians. At least you're not in the European Union. That's positive, right? The South invaded Pennsylvania and they lost the war as a result. It wasn't because of the invasion of Pennsylvania. I think it's because General Lee was an idiot and thought he could fight a battle at Gettysburg and couldn't. How far south am I? Well, I'm in Tennessee, great state of Tennessee. The ability to broadcast hate is good for business. I would agree with that. I'm waiting for somebody to decide a live action Rick and Morty is a great idea. Rick and Morty. I bet it's coming. I bet they'll have a live action. I wouldn't be very surprised if that didn't at one point. Star Trek Discovery is far worse than JJ Trek, in my honest opinion, and I'm from the Northwest, and people in general don't know history for anything. It's sad. I would agree with that. I thought you were going to talk about how Star Trek Discovery is worse than JJ Trek, but I agree with everything you just said. I'm from Spain. Okay. The only thing I know about the only thing I know about Spain is that you guys are trying to take. What is it? What's that British territory that is incredibly valuable? It's on the sea. I forget what's Gibraltar. I know about that. See, with the CBS Viacom merger. Oh, and isn't Spain taking the rights away from Catalina or something like that? That's not a joke. I don't even know. I don't. And I said that in the wrong way. Isn't Catalina part of Spain, and that's an issue? I honestly don't know a lot about Spain. I'll be honest. With the CBS Viacom merger, they could shift Star Trek Discovery into a Kelvin timeline and leave the TNG DS9 timeline separate. I don't think they're going to do that. They could, but I don't think they're going to. At all. The South lost the Civil War because they didn't use Sun Tzu tactics. Well, and they also lost the war because they weren't industrialized. Honestly, living in the South is one of the most surreal, I guess, experiences you could ever do. The South celebrates a war that they lost. And though, to be fair, the United States allows it to happen. It's one of the weirdest things. Archer is incredibly stupid. Cedric Taylor 08 helping out the channel. Thank you so much. It's how I keep the lights on. Starfleet planted the Mark V computer in the USS Vengeance. It's true. That is true. Catalana speaks a form of French, not Spanish. Okay, but aren't they in Spain? Isn't Catalana a part of Spain? I don't... Charles. That's not... Be nice. That's not okay, sir. The South lost the war because Chuck Norris wasn't born. That is true. That is absolutely true. They didn't have a train. The South lost the war because they weren't industrialized, and the South had no reason. Had no South shouldn't have went to war. Whoa, Laura, you're a Tennessean. Me too. What's up from the southwest side of the state? Yeah, I'm Middle Tennessee. A lot of people say that. I don't talk like a Southerner. You can hear it ever so often, like when I do way, fail, train. It's actually a. So a lot of people don't like the way I say trek because I used to say track, Star Trek. That's the way a lot of people say it. Shields, field, bill. That's just the way that it's said where I live. We celebrate a failed terrorist attack every 5th November. We don't judge. We don't judge. Oh yeah, yeah. It's interesting how history goes. But then I watch everything American in English. I don't hate America. It gives me all my media. I only don't understand why you think your interstate differences have any meaning in the bigger world. I got no idea what you're talking about, okay? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't know when you say interstate differences. I don't know what you mean by that. If you're talking about between the South and the North, I don't know. Do you say y'all? I rarely say that, but it's said all the time where I live. My father's side of the family is from Alabama, but I've grown up in California. I've been back and forth. The well, the interesting thing about Tennessee, and I want to say Arkansas and Mississippi too. The border states, Tennessee almost remained northern. A lot of people don't know that because they know jack all when it comes to the Civil War, but it was very, very close. One of the reasons Tennessee is cut into three separate, well, Tennessee has three separate parts. It has Central Tennessee, and then whatever the other two, I don't care about the rest of the state. I don't care much about the South, I'm going to be honest with you. And it was split, a great divide. A lot of Tennesseans actually went to the North to fight for the Union against Tennessee. It's kind of interesting. Civil War is interesting. The only reason I know it is because, again, for some reason, the South really cares about a war they lost, like a lot. It's something I don't necessarily completely understand. I mean, I kind of get it, and I understand why Northerners don't, but it's yeah. It is. Yeah, speaking of culture shock, like when I went to Portland, Oregon, which is where Anti-Trekker used to live, I visited him one time. Yeah, that is a culture shock. It is insane. Tennessee was the last state to secede and first to rejoin the Union. Yeah, some of that is because of how close it was to the Union when it comes to rejoining. But yeah, Tennessee, it was a big deal. Tennesseans did not know which way to go. I mean, you have your North and South. You can't just accept that no one should have guns, not even the military, because you can't do things with the guns other than killing, and killing is bad. Vovocat, I'm not going to let you bait me. Hit that like, peeps. Continuum Trek helping out the channel. Thank you so much. So we're about to end it pretty quickly. What do you guys have anything you specifically want to talk about? Thanks so much for supporting, though. It's the way I keep the lights on. Well, I'm from Austria. Fun fact, I am cut off from the outside world in Alpine Valley because of heavy snowfall for 2 days now, but the 120 megabyte glass fiber internet works perfect. Well, good. I'm glad the internet works. They still care. They still care because they're salty about losing. Yeah. I don't, now this I'll say, I don't know if it was just good propaganda or why it's like this, but being Southern and a part of the Southern, what is accepted by a lot in the Southern Civil War is it became about being patriotic, about caring about your homeland and defending your rights. And somehow they turned it into that when it wasn't like originally that. And people today, most people, there are racists, but most people today more think of it as like a patriotic thing, like the United States citizens think of the US, and it's surreal. It's really interesting. Typical, I log in to find out I'm at the end of the live stream. Yeah, William, I'm sorry, buddy. Will you do any more Star Wars lore videos? I will, and it's going to hit heavy, and there'll be a video coming out going through all of it. Dude saying there shouldn't be differences between states. What? North Carolina was the last to secede, and only because Virginia seceded, North Carolina had greater economic ties to the North than their fellow Southern states. Interesting fun fact that not a lot of people know. There were Northern states that had slaves. And one of the theories, and Lincoln actually was okay with Southern states having slaves and slavery within the United States. One of the reasons it's rumored, one of the reasons Lincoln waited so long to try for abolition, because he wasn't a fan of slavery, he was just okay with it, that he waited so long for abolition is that if he had immediately freed the slaves, that the northern border states would have joined the South. Also, little known fact, at Gettysburg Address, when he freed the slaves, he only freed the slaves in rebelling states. All northern states that still had slavery were allowed to have slavery. That is true. Hi, Laura. Love the channel. Nicholas, the channel loves you. Could the Enterprise E survive in the Delta Quadrant for 7 years? Yeah, probably. I think the Enterprise E had a good chance of surviving, though they would have more problems with power and such. The warp core they had was probably on par with what Voyager had, though. The biggest issue is pre-Voyager warp cores didn't have the ability to last for long and would eat dilithium like no one's business, so I don't think that they could do well, just because of that. When will you do another Babylon 5 video? It's the reason I sub to you. Well, the Jinzo, I will have to do one very shortly to justify your subscription now, won't I? I'm a warlock from Mars. I think you Earthlings are a strange bunch. We are. The Jinzo, answering the question honestly, I want to get back into it. There's a big change coming that I hope will do well, but it'll be a video. You know, freeing the slaves was about breaking the back of the South because a large part of their economy was from slaves. Yeah, and it was hopeful for rebellion and stuff. Never heard you opine history. Very knowledgeable. I was a huge fan of like the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, learning about those things. World War I and World War II were very interesting to me too. I really find history and war fascinating. I always have. So I've changed it. One thing too that people don't know, Tennessee. So when they brought the states back in to do the 13th Amendment, I think I'm right on this. I could be wrong, but they had to get Southern states to buy in too. And I believe Tennessee was one of the states that agreed to add the 13th Amendment. I think. I'd have to check that up. I could be wrong on that. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Trek. It's okay, but not my cup of tea. Yeah, I want to do more than just that. Miles, I've always found U.S. history be dull. Well, then you're wrong. It's probably not the first time. Dude watches. If you count being uneducated, inbred, and racist as American, then maybe there are more American Southerners than Northerners. Dude watches. I don't usually talk to people as ignorant as you, but I want to say congratulations. You're the most ignorant person I've seen today. So I appreciate that. And if I had a plaque, I'd give it to you. You should invest yourself into finding out about other places. U.S. is not the center of the world. So when I said that I have investigated World War I and World War II, I also watch politics when it comes to the United Kingdom. I could probably beat you on UK politics. In fact, when talking about the United Kingdom, I find it extremely interesting how much the former speaker, since he left, how popular he was. He states that he was always neutral. I think he was further from being neutral. Though I think United Kingdom politics are much more honest than the U.S. politics ever could be. Does Starfleet need something like Babylon's 5 Psi Core, Betazoids? You know, that's an interesting question. I think the way Starfleet believed in their ethos, they didn't use the Betazoids for that reason. So Dude Watches, sorry. Hey, Dude Watches, high compliment from a dude who's celebrating the Civil War. I never really did that, but let me go ahead and do this for you. Let's see. Hold on. What I want you to do is, if you can go in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see a subscription thing. So if you see it and it says subscribed, go ahead and click that for me. But I'm also going to go ahead and do this for you. You're now blocked on the channel and can never, ever interact with it. I didn't at any point say that. I said the South did. And if you're going to be that ignorant, I don't need you on the channel. I look forward to you going on Reddit and whining because you now can't talk on my channel, and I'll see you there. So get wrecked, you idiot. Now that you're gone and can never talk on this channel again, let's continue the conversation we were having. Which I forget what I was talking about now. So I guess he won on that one. Oh, I think the ethos when it comes to Betazoids is why you'd never see Starfleet doing that. I don't actually, I think Section 31 probably did. I think Section 1 probably did. And I would agree with that. Talking about history is not the same as defending it. But I will say Northerners have been as racist as Southerners, especially post-Civil War, because they thought that they had beat slavery and only Southerners are slaveries. If you look at what happened to people across the United States, it was pretty rampant. Laura, are you following the impeachment? I am. You've asked about that. So you're a fan of UK shows. Ever watch Red Dwarf? I do. I love Red Dwarf. I'm a huge fan of that. You know a channel I really like? Something I've been watching. They got canceled, but they're coming back. What's it called? They use puppets, and it's based on the MPs and the United Kingdom politics. It's called... I forget what it's called. Here it is. The hell is it named after? What the hell is the name of it? It like has the Tories and it has everyone there. It's so awesome. I wish I could think of the name of it. It's a political show, and if when I find it, I'll let you guys know about it. But it's a political show based on UK politics, and it has Tories, it has Labor. It's Spitting Image. That's exactly what it is. Watch Spitting Image. That is excellent. It is an excellent parody, I think, in my opinion. I love Spitting Image. They're coming back too, and they have a Trump thing that I think is going to be quite excellent. Would you want to live in the Babylon 5 universe since the start? I think Babylon 5, Track, all of these are like horrific places to live, I think. I don't know that I would ever want to live in any of those. So can a company throw good money away over a stance? One already is. Why wouldn't CBS? What company is throwing good money away over a stance? What major corporation is taking a stance that's costing them money? I don't think so. And I don't think CBS is either, in just my opinion. Man, I know we differ in many opinions, but you got to watch Isaac Arthur on YouTube. It takes time to watch, but it's a real mind opener. Okay, I'll take a look at it. I'm a Tory politician and I love it, says AS. Oh, really? That's cool. Live Lore is defending the southern side of the Civil War. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm defending the southern side of the Civil War. Yeah, you nailed it, buddy. You nailed it, Charles Ryan Lee. You can't post anything. If you're posting like a YouTube or a website, send it to james@lorereloaded.com because you can't do it here at all. Could a Negvar survive the Delta Quadrant? I don't think a Negvar could. I think a Negvar would get the living heck beat out of it. Gillette throwing money away. You know, here's the thing, though. I think, again, it goes back to the reactions. They're reacting to what they see in society and what they think will do. I don't know if it's good. Oh, he said not defending. Yeah, I'm not. You're right. I am not defending the South at any point. That's one of the things I was talking about before. People don't get... So it was what I was talking about, the transition. So, and I even thought this for a while until I started researching it. A lot of people in the South think that the southern states were defending their freedoms, their rights, the ability to do what they wanted to do. Technically, that's correct. But ultimately, the war was over slavery because they looked at slavery as the right, that it was taking property away, that it was removing. And the newest law by the federal government required that all new states be free states. And so the slave states would lose power. They would never be able to have any real control over the United States, over the federal government. And so that's why they moved out. But while there are other issues that happened, and this was something that was brewing for at least 50 to 100 years, slavery was a big part of it. But, and this is what I was saying is confusing, if you ask someone today, especially a white person today, why do they have Southern pride? Why do they celebrate the Civil War? They say because the South was simply trying to defend its rights, and that's something worth celebrating. It's just, and again, I don't know what kind of propaganda did to change that. I don't know if it's in the books or whatever. I don't know exactly how we got there, but that is something that has changed in the South. The northern states tried to prevent the federal government from banning slavery. They, so here's the thing. I don't even know how I let you guys let me get onto this. The North was the North. Who do you think was running the ships? The South had no real industrial might. They didn't really have their own. They didn't even really have their own navy or military or anything. So who do you think is running those slave ships? It was people from the North. Who do you think was creating the shackles and the torture devices and everything like that? It's coming from the North. I'm sorry. I let myself get off. This is just something I find interesting. But ultimately, I guess, talk to you later, Darth Nicta. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for moving off of that. I let myself get there. It's something I find interesting because everybody is horrific in my opinion. You're a left-wing socialist democratic snowflake. I'm from the North and I stand and will die for the I don't even know what that means, Gary Price. I have no idea. New series on Lore Reloaded. My first video ever was a Civil War what if scenario. It was. Yeah, he did he did Reagan, and it was great. I don't even know what you're talking about. This all started with my throwaway comment on Bless Your... Oh, it probably did. What?
Did you call me?
I didn't call you, but I love you.
Well, you just said Reagan.
I didn't. I said Reagan. He was a president.
Ray.
Reagan, not Ray Vaughn.
I just heard you say that.
Okay, well, Reagan.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all true, but the Northerners didn't fight a war for slavery. I agree. Live life free. I would agree with that. What did we make Al Weifu? Germany just helped their allies and lost because of a revolution home. Okay. I'm not sure what we're talking about anymore. North medical experts implemented. What would have happened if the South didn't attack Fort Sumter? It would have been so the Reagan, the Civil War was a long time coming. If you actually research it, this was brewing 50 to 100 years. If the attack on Fort Sumter hadn't happened, or the federal government hadn't started enacting laws that would have made free states only, it would have just pushed it out longer. There was going to be you could see it if you look at it. Civil War was inevitable. It was just a matter. Northern Confederates are so weird. The South fired the first shots on a fort manned by the U.S. military. There's more to that. I forget exactly what it was, but there's more to it. It was a long time coming, but I think that we would have seen it. Reagan will shoot you with his ray gun. That's possible. Yeah, Al Weifu. The war was going to happen. It just was a matter of how long, because it almost did happen like 50 years before. There was talks of like a civil war, but they actually sent a military down there. I want to say Jefferson, but that's not right. A president sent military into the South, and the South instantly gave up. It was happening. Pointing out Northerners piloted slaves. They created, they built, they constructed ships specifically for slave labor. Northerners constructed ships specifically for slave labor. They then piloted them. They then paid They then either captured themselves or paid other Africans to capture Africans. They brought them back and they sold them, making money off the slave trade. But you're right, Northerners had nothing to do with it at all. They only built the ships, they only built the ships for one specific purpose, piloted the ships for one specific purpose, caught the people themselves or paid off Africans for one specific purpose, brought it back and sold them to Southerner states for one specific purpose, and did it all over again. But you know what? The North, they're God's children. They didn't do anything. Didn't do nothing. Them Northern people didn't do nothing. Heroes is what the Northerners were. Heroes. And no, Live Life, please read your fracking history. They did not try to remove it all. Slavery was not outlawed in northern states that endorsed slavery. In fact, slavery continued throughout. Slavery continued for a small time in northern states after the Civil War. Read your history book. You're uneducated on the topic. Like, that's just what frustrates me. And I'm sorry, we're getting off topic. It's just not true. The North is not the saints that they claim that you guys think you are. You're not. You were happy to do it until the Civil War. Absolutely. Just made hand over fist, made so much money off the South. It was stupid how much money the North made off the South because of the slave trade. It was ridiculous. Yeah. I shouldn't say stupid. You're right. I'm sorry. That was a bad word. I just get passionate. I'm not upset. Yeah, the South started the war. That's it. This is fake news. NorCal Pepper, you agreed. All right. What's the last Trek or science fiction thing we shall discuss before we have to go? Any chance of seeing Janeway in Star Trek Picard? I don't know. I don't know if there is. I doubt it. For some reason, well, maybe. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't know if we'll see Janeway. Why do you use the word God so much in your official documents? We are a heavily religious country, and we don't. We are a heavily religious country, and we don't. I don't know what that means, Vovacat. Part of it is the culture. I'm actually not religious. I don't believe in a God or gods, but I grew up religious, and where I live, that God is just a common use, you know? So that's why. Laura, have you seen the video about how Jerry Ryan getting cast as Seven helped get Obama into power? I've seen that. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. Let's discuss the fact that Esri is cuter than Jadzia. I don't know. Is Esri? This is lame, says Gary. Gary, I don't want to be lame for you, buddy. If you look deep enough, neither side was innocent. Both sides did a lot to lead up and start the war. I agree. I think the North was right. I think the North should have done what it did. And I'm glad the North won. It's not saints, you know? I completely agree. The South deserved to get the hell beat out of it, and that's exactly what happened. I think Admiral Janeway's appearance in Star Trek Nemesis was her final appearance. I would agree too. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, turn before you burn. You know, yeah, I clicked it because I thought it was a 4 JJ Trek movie. We talked about that. And as you know, so here's the thing. A lot of people will get confused. I'm an hour 7 into this. I start out with the actual topic, and then we go wherever you guys want to go. So if you join and it's like, oh, is this going to be about Star Trek 4? Well, look at the time. If it's 30 minutes in, we're probably talking about something else, because that's just what we do. Yeah, it's so, Mr. Pete, let UFG say that. I don't have an issue with that. Let him say that now. Robert E. Lee should have taken up Lincoln's offer to lead U.S. forces. Either that or he shouldn't have gotten involved. I think if General E. Lee wasn't a part of the Southern strategy, or the Southern's strategy, they would have lost a lot better. The reason why the North didn't just curb stomp the South, which they should have, was because they didn't have the smartest generals in the world. All right, guys. Last question. Oh, last question, and then we got to go. Come here, please. Oh, so if UFG is spamming it, then yeah. But UFG, if you want me to see something, then just do @lore reloaded, and I'll try to address it. But if you're spamming it, then you did the right thing. So y'all want to say bye to all the people?
And when's Mom gonna be here?
3 or 4 minutes, she said. I'll give her a call after this. So say bye, guys. Laura, have you ever seen the TV miniseries from the 80s? I have seen that, yes.
No. Did you see my any video? Did you see my any videos?
More BattleTech soon. Yeah, we'll have more BattleTech. You have a video. Oh, she's been pretending she's making videos too. Yep. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming. Sorry if I got too passionate.
The very first YouTube family. Yeah.
I don't think we're the first one.
We're the first one I know of. So there.
All right. See you guys. Looking forward to ghosting me for a long time. I'll talk to you later, man. I'm gonna lose a lot of sleep if you're ghosting me. Let me just be honest with you. All right. Bye, guys. Tell you, if you're ghosting me for a long time, you know how I'm gonna sleep? With a warm glass of milk and a book. That's how I sleep at night. If you're not ghosting me and you were talking to somebody else, well then good. I'm glad you're not ghosting me because I miss you, baby. Don't ever leave me, baby. I hate it when we fight. Why do we always have to fight? What was your name? Live life free. Why do we always have to fight? Live life. I hate it when it gets like this. It's just you always do this in front of our friends. Live life free. You always like have this fight in front of our friends. Why can't we just do this in like? Why can't we just do this like between us? You know, I don't even understand. Honestly, guys, I'm just giving it a second because it always takes forever for it to end, and I just want to keep talking. I don't know. Anyway, I love you all. I love you all so much. I hate that we don't call each other. You know, like it. Why can't it be what it used to be?